some musicians believe that the patterns that exist in music scales and chords or whatever, like that you can break down mathematically, is evidence of God or something godly. What would you have to say about that? Have you ever had similar thoughts, or at this point in your life, how would you?
I have, and I'm of two minds on this, because there is an aspect of, some music sounds good, and there's got to be a reason why it sounds good. But on the other side of my mind, I understand music in sort of like a physics sort of way, which is just pockets of pressure in air, where a note like 440, like the A that we use most commonly, 438 if you're like an orchestra player.
Yeah.
But the 440 just has a physical translation into the physical world, the non-ethereal. Yeah. So 440 just means that the pressure pockets of the note as it vibrates happens 440 times every second. That's what hertz means. Hertz is not a music term, it's a physics term. And you can explain why harmony sounds good, because if you take 440 and you double it to 880, that's an octave.
But okay, so even though these things could be explained by physics, that doesn't explain why it could be explained by physics, if that makes any sense.
Right.
You know what I mean? So there's like another layer there. It's like, so maybe the patterns that we discuss in music theory
like code.
Yeah.
Like it was coded into existence by something.
Yeah. Not that we can answer a question like that, like in this moment, but I'm kind of curious, like how you feel about that. Like understanding physics.
If it was by a creator, then the pitch wouldn't have modulated so much in the last 300 years. Because A440, if you took that 300 years ago, that would have been like A428, and for some reason, our ears just like it. Keep the club going up.
Yeah. Okay.
Like it's Tuesday.
Has studying physics made you less spiritual, like less interested in spirituality? That
is a good question. I don't believe so. But most of my spirituality comes from music itself, not so much as an overlord creator who cares who you put your penis inside of. More like a force of approval that you like things in music and in other aspects of life because they are quote unquote good. Yeah, I guess. But I'm kind of like a just in case spiritual person, where I don't know if praying to the music gods will help me in performance, but it won't hurt to just throw in a good word every now and then,
Well, I know a lot of people who do the just in case.
I guess that's agnostic.
I hope if my grandma can still hear this, God bless my grandmother, on her way, she passed away. She knew she was on the way out, and she started saying things like, "Oh shit, I better be nice to this lady because just in case heaven's real." She's like, I think I still have time to repair it. Like she kind of had like that mindset of like, maybe I should be nice.
Didn't Carlin have a joke like that? He was like, I figured out why so many old people are spiritual and go to church. Yeah. They're studying for the final test.
Yeah. I didn't hear it. I could picture him saying something like that, but I didn't hear that specifically. But I do know a lot of people that like, it was in the documentary, the not a documentary, like I don't know what you call it, half documentary, half kind of making things up. The Jeffrey Dahmer one on Netflix. Mm-hmm. Right. The last episode, he suddenly became religious because he heard from somebody else, or like on the news, I think he heard.
Well, religion is a really good way to manipulate people. So
he became religious in the prison because he was told like he would have a chance to go to heaven.
Right.
He's like, shit, I'm evil he got baptized. Yeah. So so it's interesting how people, like, if somebody becomes religious, if somebody gets baptized just for the chance to go to heaven, are they actually a good person? Mm-hmm. Like, you know what I mean? It's kind of an interesting thing.
For me, another thought came into my mind as we were discussing this.
Yeah.
Just because somebody may not believe in a higher power doesn't mean that that we can't evoke that name in the name of in as a placeholder name for things that we don't understand.
So okay, that you just verbalize exactly what I try to explain sometimes.
Yeah.
When I use the word God, some people are like, "Whoa, like you can't, like it's 2023, like that's not, like that's anti-gay, like that's what
that's anti-gay."
And I'm like, no. When I use the word God, I
think the Pope said being gay is okay now. The Argentine guy,
Did
yeah.
he? Oh well,
Yeah. And he no longer sits in a golden throne, so.
Okay, well, that's interesting. No, but like,
who would have thought an Argentine person?
No, but I use the word God exactly how you said it. You just articulated it perfectly as a placeholder for like, well, I got to pray to something.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm like dear, blah, 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 like
right,
just because I don't know what it is, like I have to give it a name. So to me, God is the name for like that thing that I feel exists, but I just don't know what is. Like that's how I use the word God.
There's a lot of religious Facebooks and TikToks and people that want to spread the message of theism that use the writings of Albert Einstein and Stephen Hawking, just to name a few, because they mention God in the writings seldom, but they use it as almost like a literary object. Like,
that's funny you say that.
Hey, we can't fully know the mind of God because of this and that. And a lot of people say, hey, see, he said God, that means he's religious.
I was under the impression that
they are not
Einstein
religious.
was a believer. I wouldn't want to say religious, but I was under the impression that Einstein was a believer and Stephen Hawking was atheist. That's what I thought, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, you're absolutely wrong. They were not believers in a higher power.
Okay.
They were complete atheists. And
I did know that about Hawking, but I didn't know that about Einstein.
Yeah, it's just misinformation that gets bounced in the echo chamber that is the misinformation tubes.
Yeah, because it makes people feel like, well, if Einstein said it. Then
exactly. It's like how could this be wrong if the world's smartest man said God? It's like you didn't read the paper.
Okay. Oh, all right. So this is so random. It's a new thing I'm doing on my podcast. I put random trivia.